This week we've been talking about myths and how myths help us understand things differently or in a different way or even better than what we've known before. There's oftentimes a lesson within a myth. And the myths, too, the way that they're told in the story forms, help us remember because these stories are creative and they're almost magical in a way. So today I'm going to read you a story, and I want you to imagine the story in your head. Create the pictures as I read. I might hold up a picture or two, but I really want you to focus. You can close your eyes. You can turn the lights off if you'd like to, and just envision this myth story. All right. And I want you to create these pictures and really dream them up big as you listen to my words. The story is titled The Golden Flower, and this is a myth from Puerto Rico. So we can learn about a myth across the world today, and we're going to try to figure out how it helps us. How does it teach us? What do we learn from this myth? All right, so you may close your eyes, you can get comfortable and listen up as I read you this myth from Puerto Rico, the golden flower. In the beginning of the world, there was no water anywhere on earth. There was only a tall mountain that stood alone on a wide desert plain. There were no green plants. There were no flowers. All the people lived on top of this mountain. I'll show you a picture. One day, a child went walking on the dry land down below the mountain. As he bent over, he was looking for food. Something floated by in the wind. He reached out and he caught it and he put it in his hand. It was a small seed, a small brown seed. He put the seed into his pouch. The next day he went walking and again he found something as it floated by in the wind. It was another seed. Day by day, he gathered these seeds and until his pouch was full. It could not hold any more. And the child said to himself, I will plant these seeds at the top of our mountain. He planted the seeds and he waited. One morning, a tiny green leaf appeared. The child watched. From under the ground, a forest began to grow high on top of the mountain. All the people came to see. It was a forest of many colored flowers, a magical garden of green leaves and thick branches. The child was happy. In the middle of the forest, at the foot of the tallest tree, there grew a vine that wrapped itself around the tree. Can you picture that in your head? The biggest tree in all of the forest, the biggest one full. I can picture it standing there mighty and tall and thick, and a vine was wrapped around the tree. And from that vine there grew a flower more beautiful than all the rest. The bright flower with golden petals. What color is gold? Bright, vibrant yellow, golden. And from that flower, something new appeared. It looked like a little ball. Look, cried the child. Something is growing out of that flower. As the people gathered around to watch, the ball grew larger and larger until it became a big, great yellow globe that shone like the sun. Can you picture that? How bright the sunshine is up in the sky. This flower was bright and bold and shining just like that. Even as they walked on the dry land below, people could see this flower shining from up top of the mountain. One woman said, if you put your ear next to the ball, you can hear strange noises coming from inside. All the people listened. Strange sounds like murmuring could be heard, but no one knew what was hidden inside. The people were afraid. After that, they all stayed away. Even the child stayed away. I wonder what's in there. I wonder what's making the sounds inside this flower. Inside this big, bright something that's growing from the flower. One day, a man walking on the desert plain saw the golden ball. He said, "If that shining ball were mine, I would have the power of the sun. I could light up the sky or make darkness fall." And he ran towards it, climbing up the rocky mountainside. On the other side of the mountain, another man saw a shining globe, and he also said, "I want that thing for myself. It will give me great power." And he too began to run for it. Each one climbed up quickly. Each one found a path that led them to that tree. Here they come. What's going to happen? Oh no, they're both going for the same round ball that's growing from this flower. They both ran without stopping until they reached the shining globe at the same time. But what they found was not really a ball at all. It was the fruit of the golden flower, a pumpkin. Look at them. They both got to it at the same time, and it wasn't a globe or wasn't anything. What was it? It was actually a huge pumpkin. A glowing pumpkin. The two men began to fight and to argue. "It's mine," said one. "No, it's mine," said the other. Each man grabbed at the pumpkin. They pushed and they pulled. They pushed, they pulled, and they tugged on it until finally the vine broke. The pumpkin began to roll down the mountain faster and faster and faster and faster until it crashed into a sharp rock and it burst apart. What's going to happen? Oh my goodness. Whoosh! Waves of water poured out of the pumpkin. The water bubbled and foamed, and the waves began to cover the entire earth, flooding the desert plain, rising higher and higher. For it was the sea that had been hidden inside the pumpkin. The entire sea, you guys. Out came creatures, whales, dolphins, crabs, starfish. All the people ran to the top of the mountain to hide in the forest of green leaves. So what do you think is going to happen after all these people run? Now they're running to the tippy top of the mountain. What do we think is going to happen? We know the water is pouring out. And all the people go running up that mountain. Wow, can you imagine seeing that? Just whales and dolphins and all of these water creatures just flying past you as you're trying to climb up this mountain to get away from the water. What's going to happen? Will the whole earth be covered? They cried. Higher and higher, the waters just kept rising up the side of that mountain. But when the water reached the edge of the magic forest that the boy had planted, it stopped. The people peeked out from behind all the leaves and all those flowers that the kid had planted. What did they see? Small streams running through the trees, a beach of golden sand, and a wide open ocean sparkling all around them. Now the people could drink from the cool streams and they could splash in the rippling waves. Now they could gather fish from the flowing tides and they could plant their crops. The child laughed and he sang, and the sun shone down, and the breeze blew through the green leaves, and they rustled the many colored flowers. Water had come to earth, and that is how, they say, between the sun and the sparkling blue sea, their island home came to be. great story about a myth from Puerto Rico. What can we learn from this? So, what does this myth help us first understand about pumpkin plants? Is there anything that you can gather about a pumpkin plant from this? And then tell me something that you learned about Puerto Rico from this myth. Is there anything that stood out to you or something that you just really enjoyed? Will you let me know and tell me, write it out in a beautiful sentence, please, and then send me your work in Dojo. Let me know if you have any questions, okay? I look forward to reading your responses. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.